Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we have a few knives that were sent in by Talica for sharpening. And starting this off, we have the Fanatic Edge Omen. This is an LMAX steel and titanium. Now, right off the bat, it has some really bright colors, almost like a Joker theme. And the blade has a recurved tanto with a dual grind. A lot going on this knife. Now, personally, right off the bat, it's what I would call just an EDC knife. Not a badass EDC knife, though. Something that's cool, good looking, but is an EDC knife. And I say that because the blade shape, it's something that you can get by with using, and for just basic EDC stuff, it'll be okay. Same thing with the ergos. Is it comfortable? It's okay. It's not the best, and anything hard use, the blade doesn't make sense for the handle. Like if I needed to cut a strap, could I do it? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to do it over and over. Same thing with like breaking down cardboard or cutting straps. Now just opening things up, it'll be fine. And I could do that over and over and over. But anything harder than that, then, like I said, it's just a badass EDC. Something, for fun, because it's not going to do anything difficult or hard very well. Now, the flipper tab is extra pokey. I'm actually kind of weirded out that they even went with this flipper tab, because it has a decent detent, and you can already see. So and you can curl around it and get it like this and yank back, but you wind up in an awkward position trying to do that. The natural position just puts you right on that corner, and you yank down on it. And it fires really good, but you're getting poked. It's not something you want to keep doing over and over. The thumb studs are really good, though. Really good position. They're comfortable thumb studs. The detent is nice for the thumb studs. And it kicks pretty hard. The detent is nice and solid. And when you unlock it, but man, gripping it and, firing it off, I guess that is kind of weird because the handle is so small, but you can do it. The lock bar access is pretty tight, but you can get to it, no problem. And it is drop shutty. Not quite guillotine-ish, but it's pretty false shutty though. And it has a nice early detent, which is really nice. So, hollow grind and a flat grind, like I said, dual grind. Now, one thing that's really, I guess it's pretty bad, is this plunge grind. You see how the plunge grind goes past the edge? Not even to the edge. Let me zoom in. It goes past the edge. And you can see where they didn't even get it sharp right here. It's just flat right there. This isn't even sharp. So right here is sharp, right here is not. So I don't know why they wouldn't just do a better plunge grind or do anything else. A bigger choil, a better plunge grind, whatever. But it is cool, though. I do like it. I think it looks wicked. I love the purple hardware with all the other purple. I think the colors look cool. I think it's badass. You got a choke up spot right there if you were really going to break some stuff down and you had to do it. I wouldn't hold it back here. I would put myself right there. Lock myself in really nice. But we're going to put a nasty sharp edge on this guy. Now the next one, I've actually reviewed one of these a very long time ago. And this guy from his bearings. Gillians bearings. You guys know I'm always talking about Gillians bearings. He makes USA made bearings, and yeah, awesome salt and pepper bearings. He also makes the Falling Star. Now, I reviewed a knife similar to this a long time ago, not this particular one, but it was very similar. Now, there was one major difference between the one I reviewed and that is the blade shape. The one I did was a tanto. This is more of a spanto, or a dual ground drop point. But it is still kind of a tanto in a way. You know, they just add it, instead of having the secondary tip right here, it just adds a little bit of belly. Now, the one I tried had a satin finish. It does have some really cool colors on this. You can see why they call it the falling star. It does look good. Detent is really good, really stout detent. The one thing, oh yeah, and the one I tried, excuse me, didn't have thumb studs. This one has thumb studs, or one thumb stud, I should say, which works pretty good. You do got to give it some power, but same thing with the flipper tab. But when you do, it kicks. Now, the thing is that it's kind of stiff. See, the detent is solid too. Very stiff detent. But if you give it any gas, it'll fire. It's just from right when it breaks the detent, from here to here, it's pretty stiff. Then from here to here, it's nice and smooth. So I'm guessing the bearings are just still breaking in, and eventually this thing will get very smooth. But you see how it stopped right there? Let me back it out a little bit. Oh, no, I guess that's as far as I can go. Once I unlock it, see how it drops, but then once it gets to right there, now it's pretty stiff. Now, the one I remember trying with the satin finish was a bit smoother, but who knows how long it had, you know, broken in for, whatever. It is nice and comfortable in the hand. Back here, and then you do have the finger choil where you can choke up. Now, the one thing that feels weird to me now, feeling it later on, and you know, after I've held so many knives, is the blade goes up. I really wish the blade went down. Like, instead of the way how it kind of canters up like this, I wish it went down this way. Because then when I'm holding it right here like this, see how it's going back towards me? It would be aiming at what I want like this. That's how I would want it naturally when I'm gripping it like this. But instead I have to twist my wrist towards the object. And, you know, I can do that. That's not a problem. And that's what I would do when I'm cutting with it. Or I would grip it like this and do it this way. But it's nice if you don't have to, you know, kink your wrist a certain way to do things. And then also with straps, when I'm cutting a strap, you know, it has the potential to go up and around the blade. If it was cantered this way, it would get trapped. So the access to the lock bar is really good. The lock bar has a lot of strength to it. It reminds me of a Medford. It's very strong. But very cool knife. It's been a while since I got to try one out. And I'm happy to revisit one of these again. Oh, and if anybody wants to use my sharpening service, you can contact me through Instagram or through email. I'd be happy to sharpen up whatever you have. Usually the edges cost around $30 a piece plus the shipping costs. I do have more affordable options as well, but that's usually about what it costs. But like I said, I do offer other sharpening services that are more affordable if, you know, if that's a little too pricey for you. I really like the pivot. Nice big hardware. I love the feeling of the detent when it does fire off, because this thing kicks. And it's not hard to make it fire off. So I don't want to make it seem like it's, you know, difficult to make this thing fire every time. It is snappy, especially when you try. Now, the next knife. Oh, and that is in CTS XHP steel. So we have some CTS XHP steel. You guys know I love that steel. We got LMAX steel. Love that steel. Now we have some Magna Cut. But before we get to the Magna Cut, let's actually take a look at this Hinderer Buoy really quick. Now this is an 01 tool steel. Very, very nice. Love the wooden scales. This you can just look at this, and Hinderer, basically everything Hinderer does is super comfortable in the hand. This is so comfortable. Oh, man. This is how a knife should feel in the hand. Choked up, same thing, just major comfort. We have a Bowie blade. Nice geometry, especially considering it's a Hinderer. It's not like ridiculously thin or anything. It is pretty stout, as you can see, but this is a fixed blade, and it does get down to a reasonably thin cutting edge for, fixed blade, especially with this stock thickness. But man, it's super comfortable. The wood looks really good. It kind of has that antique look to it. And then check out the bead. Very cool. All right, next we have a BGM custom in Magnet Cut that is a hollow ground clip point blade with a chisel grind. Almost lost it for a second. So we got a nice deep hollow, beautiful satin with a chisel. So this thing is going to cut so good. Chisel grinds have the ability to be thick and still cut very well. And in this case, we have a nice thin geometry for about quarter way up the blade until it gets to this hump right here. For the hollow, that's when it does thicken up a little bit. But I have no doubt that it's not going to cut extremely well. And Talc wants me to lay this baby back. So I am going to, we'll see. I'm going to lay it back about as far as I can get it without it being ridiculous. Probably like, I can go as low as 8 degrees. So 8 degrees would be a very, very big bevel on this. So I don't know, maybe we'll probably go maybe like 13, 15 degrees. I don't know, maybe even 10. We'll see. Like I said, I can go as low as 8. So we'll see what he wants to do. But yeah, that will make a pretty large bevel. I mean, it's not too thick behind the edge, so it's not going to be too crazy. The thicker it is behind the edge, then the lower the angle you put on it, the bigger the bevel. So the higher the angle, the smaller the bevel, which also means less cutting performance and lower edge retention, but it'll be massively tougher. So, the bigger the edge bevel means the lower the angle, the better the cutting performance, and usually better edge retention, but it's more fragile. So, you got to pick your battles. I forget what these are. I think they're like Rich Light or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's some sort of G10. Nice and comfortable in the hand. It is wider than it is broad or tall, if you can see that. Nice and wide. And you can definitely feel that in the hand. Nice and comfortable. I always wish his ergos, because I know BGM, he likes to make ergos like this. I would love to see one of his knives with one of these grips, like something like this. Ooh, man. These ones tend to feel a little small to me for the blade. Sometimes, not always. It does depend. I've held a lot of his knives, and there was one actually recently that was really, really good, and it was a long Bowie. But just wanted to show you guys these really quick. I'm gonna be sharpening these up, so it's nice getting more Magnet Cut on the books so that I have more experience with it and I can get a bigger opinion on it. Now, I'm not going to be using these or anything, but I do have a couple reviews coming of a couple more knives in Magnet Cut here that I'll be dropping any day now. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.